Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Cerebral Smack Talk live on YouTube and StreamYard.com. It is Girl MF Michael Fletcher alongside Anthony Florio and Dee Woodson. We are hopefully awaiting the arrival of Michael Bullock. We don't know if he's going to be here tonight or not. But it's going to be a busy night for us. Tonight we're going to be recapping SmackDown Live, and then we also will be setting the table um, for the NXT in your house that goes down this Sunday night. So we do start it off with Jeff Hardy cutting a promo and along with Sheamus, and you know I think this was fine. This was a solid segment. Um, you know, it kind of is basically Hardy's explanation and the whole 9 yards. Obviously, Sheamus was gonna have a rebuttal, and it is what it is. We kind of expected it. Nothing significant, but it was good for what it was worth. And it's a solid segment, and it kind of continues to add to the storyline. So, um, there's really nothing more to add. So, Anthony Florio, it's all yours, my friend. Let's go.
Well, I'll tell you, MF. Using Jeff Hardy's struggles with substance abuse as part of a storyline has been controversial in some circles, with CM Punk even voicing his displeasure on last week's edition of Backstage. Punk said Hardy may have been fine with the angle, but he still did not think it was the best route to take. The whole storyline probably wouldn't have happened without Hardy's consent, but it is understandable why people would think using his sobriety in this scenario was a bad idea, me being one of them. Putting all of that aside, Hardy did a good job in this segment. He came across as genuine and pulled off his part well. Sheamus is a very good antagonist who can be used against anybody and look like the bully. This storyline may not be great, but this was not a bad segment if we are only looking at it from the perspective of whether or not it was entertaining. Backlash, June 14th. Hardy and Sheamus. It's official. So we'll get into that next week. So nothing more to say. Dee Woodson, you're the big Jeff Hardy fan here, the big Hardy mark here. Your thoughts on all
As, as stupid as
I'm not real crazy about the idea of them using real life in the wrestling business myself, but they've been known to do it several times. I mean, you can go back and see, Edge, Matt, Lita. Uh, we saw what happened when they did Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch. I mean, it just doesn't always work out, and it's not something a lot of the fans want to see. So, I'm not crazy about the angle they're going. As far as him saying that it's Sheamus, yeah, there's a lot of evidence going that way, but there is other people who have red hair that it could have been. Um, so that, there's no telling what angle they're actually going to go with. But me personally, I'm still thinking, it could be Sheamus that did it, and that's the angle they were leading with tonight. Whether it is or not, we'll have to wait and see. But the segment was good, but still, I'm not real crazy about the way it's going, because I don't like the fact that it's real life playing itself out. So not more. I'm going to say, Fletch, I'll toss it to you so you can catch Bullock up.
Mike Bullock, you really got nothing really much to catch up on, my friend. The only thing you really got to catch up on is just our opening segment, which was Jeff Hardy and Sheamus. So it's all yours, bro.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I thought this was a fine segment here. I mean, obviously, Jeff Hardy. I mean, uh, basically talking about everything that happened and all that, and everything that went down, and Sheamus coming in, and and of course, we all knew for sure that it had to be him that set up that set up Jeff Hardy to make it look like he was the one that caused everything with what we saw last week. So yeah, so there's really nothing more to add to it. So I, I think we should just move along, Fletch.
All right, and indeed we are, and we're gonna get into the first fight of the night, which was Mr. Money in the Bank Otis alongside Mandy Rose going up against King Corbin. Otis wins the match in 4 minutes via disqualification. Basically, Corbin grabbed the chair and walloped Mr. Money in the Bank. That called for the bell and then tried to get him a couple of more times. But then Otis kind of got his measure of revenge by ended up getting the caterpillar on the king. So, Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
I can only give it 2. I mean, we had an outcome, so a rating is required here. So
Yes, it is.
2 stars is my rating for this. The finish was anticlimactic, but up until that point, Otis and Corbin were having a good competitive match. These are 2 athletes who had previous success outside of wrestling. It shouldn't surprise anyone that they work well together. Like Sheamus earlier, Corbin is a bully character who is the perfect opponent to put with someone beloved, such as Otis. The ending could have been better, but the DQ finish keeps the door open for a rematch without making either guy look weak right now. Basically, the password here is protection. And they protected both men here. So that's what they did. So I could see a rematch at the earliest possible date, maybe a future SmackDown, maybe at Backlash. I don't know. We'll see. But for right now, it's 2 stars. Michael Bullock, your thoughts?
Bullock?
Yeah, I'm right here. Yeah, so yeah, I can only give it 2 stars as well. I mean, there was really nothing that much to write home about. I mean, it was fine, but nothing really that special. So I'm not gonna really get that much into it. So I give it to you, Fletch.
Let's get it to Dee Dee Woodson. Dee Dee, it's all yours, love.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, I'll go with the 2 stars. I mean, it was, kind of looking good. It was kind of fun to watch there for a little bit, but, DQ finish, not something we all want to watch. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to say on it. Yours, Fletch.
Yeah, no, 2-star fight. It wasn't really nothing too bad. It was all right for what it was worth. There wasn't really anything too egregious here, but it was definitely a lot better. It was pretty decent. But like Anthony said, it protected both men, which is fair enough. It was more than fair enough, when you got protection and the whole 9 yards, and there was really nothing more to add. So no, let's just move right along. Next up we had was a rematch from last week. Sonya Deville versus Lacey Evans. And this time, we do get a result. Lacey Evans wins the match in 12 minutes and 25 seconds. The woman's right nails Sonya Deville, and Lacey gets the Duke. Michael Bullock, we were praising them last week. I think we're going to be praising them even more. We finally got a result tonight.
Oh yeah, we're definitely praising them more, especially after what we saw tonight with these 2. I mean, this was definitely a very good match. As far as the out, I mean, I'm gonna give it about maybe three, maybe 3.25 when it comes to this match. I mean, this really got going, and we saw. I mean, Sonya Deville. I mean, what can you say about her? She continues to show why we're calling her Victoria 2.0, but unfortunately, it was not enough. Lacey Evans basically gets the woman's right on her, and yeah, yeah, Sonya, all that craziness you had in you, it wasn't good enough for the woman's right. So yeah, I really got nothing more to say. This was definitely, and you know what? I'll even say it. It was definitely first, Dee Dee. I gotta give it to you. And Dee Dee, I think you gotta say this was definitely much better than last week.
Yeah, it was a lot better than last week. I can agree with the rating, 3 and a quarter. These girls really did a great job. Still hate the distracting type endings, but these girls had a lot of chemistry together, and they did a really great job. So I have nothing really negative to say about it. This was definitely one of the hottest matches for the night with these two girls. So it's yours, Fletch.
They really played off really well. And, there's really not much that they needed it to do. It was a carbon copy of last week. There was some clunky moments. There was a referee moment that he botched. There was a referee botch in that fight, and there was a couple of moments where they it was a little awkward. There was some awkward moments in the match, but they kept the intensity from last week. They kept them fighting. They kept them brawling. It was definitely a great match, and this time around we got an actual outcome, a winner, which is even better than anything that we got last week. Remember, last week ended in a double count out, and even though we were poo-pooing over the ending, we said, man, that was a damn good fight. This was just as good, maybe even a little better tonight. So props to Lacey Evans, props to Sonya Deville, and well done. This was an excellent fight. I totally agree with your rating of 3 to 3 and a quarter. I think they really went out there. They really tore it down tonight. And the thing was, they needed to follow up. They needed it to follow up after last week because we were buzzing over last week's fight, and we're like, man, there's no, can they really top that? Yes, is the answer. They not only topped it, they went for it and pulled off an amazing match. Ample time. The story was great. Yes, there was some clunky moments and there was a referee botch, but all in all, we got what we wanted. We got what we were looking for. And if you're Fox, you're very happy with this match. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
Indeed. Three to 3.5 stars is my rating for this. This was a solid performance from two superstars who have been doing some of their best work in recent months. They were aggressive and made each other look good by selling each other's offense well. At times, Sonya looked like the most dangerous woman in WWE with the way she was viciously attacking Lacey Evans. The distraction from Mandy Rose allows her feud with Sonya to continue without them having to get physical again right away. Evans seems like the odd woman out here, but the win over Deville will keep her moving in the right direction until her next feud comes along. Now, Michael Bullock and I, we did not have our Smackdown chat this evening because of a special family commitment on Bullock's end, but there is one thing that needs to be addressed during this. Referee botch. Who ended up getting hurt, for goodness sakes? Danilo Amphibio. Me and Bullock's favorite referee. He got taken out. He was holding on to his knee. I pray to God he's all right and he'll be ready to go for next week. But just wanted to get that off my chest. So get well, Danilo Amphibio. We love you, man. So that's from me and Bullock. So but other than that, great matchup here. So really nothing more to say. Let's move on, MF.
All right. So with that said, we got ourselves a little situation. So next up, we had on the show, we had a couple of promo segments, whatever. Then we had Renee Young introducing AJ Styles, and it was an interview, and I had Daniel Bryan as well. It was a face to face, and boy did it explode. It went really well. Then after that, we're gonna do a 2-for-1 deal because then we had Drew Gulak. Yes, Drew Gulak is back in WWE, re-signed with Smackdown, and he went up against AJ Styles. And believe it or not, guys, the winner of the bout in 5 minutes and 20 seconds, Drew Gulak beats AJ Styles. Whoa! Welcome back to the WWE. Welcome back to SmackDown Live, and a huge win, taking down the face that runs the place. Dee Woodson, give me your thoughts. This was really good.
Yeah, it was. But I am going to make one little point on one of the backstage segments that I know we usually skip. I don't want to be Miz and Morrison when Kayla comes looking around for him. That's the only thing I have to say because the woman scorned, and she definitely was scorned when that green slime hit her.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't want to be Miz and Morrison in that position right now. So yeah, that's all I'm going to say on that one because I know we don't usually talk about those, but that's one that I kind of had to address. All right. As for the in-ring with Renee Young, AJ, and Brian, that was a great segment. They did a great job. They brought up a lot of great points, and you can make an argument both ways with both of them in agreement, but this was great storyline progression, great lead up for the pay-per-view match, and then bringing Drew Gulak in and having that match. I'm going to give it probably 3.25 to 3.5. I thought it was a really well done match, and it's great to see that Gulak got the win. And now, what does this mean now for AJ's chance at the title at the pay-per-view? So we kind of have to wait and see what's going to happen on that. Are they going to meet again for that chance, or what's going to happen? So let's see what happens between now and that next pay-per-view that's a little over a week away. So it's yours, Fletch.
Okay. To answer Dee Dee's question, AJ Styles is in the finals. He should automatically fight Daniel Bryan. However, if AJ Styles wins the title, Drew Gulak could be the first challenger. That's what I could see happen. That if AJ wins the title, I think Drew Gulak has put himself in position to possibly be the first challenger for AJ Styles and the Intercontinental title. And that fight will be excellent. No doubt about it. Now, I didn't want to get into what happened to Kayla because it probably would set me off. So, Ms. Morrison, you did a very low thing. I know it was meant for Braun, and you got Kayla. And one thing's for sure, boys, hell has no fury like a woman scorned. And like she said, those bastards are about to get their ass kicked. Because knowing Kayla, she's a sultry Latina. And Latinos, they don't like, when they get mad, they get mad. I'm telling you guys, she is going to tear these fools apart. Payback is coming, big time. Now, as far as Drew versus AJ, this was a solid fight. This was a good, I could say about at least another 2.5 to 3 star match. Yes, it was short, but it was a nice little sprint, and it's a great win for Drew Gulak. His first win in a while. He got a big win over AJ Styles, And like I said, he probably now put himself in line to possibly become the first challenger if AJ becomes Intercontinental Champion. So we'll wait and see what happens. That could be very interesting, and I don't think there's anything more to add. So yeah, Anthony Florio, this was solid. Everything was great.
Yeah, everything about this was great. Absolutely. The the segment with Brian and AJ, that was the segment of the night. I mean, the intensity of both men, absolutely well done. The exchange between them was great. We all knew Brian would call Styles a coward, and we also knew the Phenomenal One would claim it was just him being smart. Having Drew Gulak face AJ was a welcome surprise. Two of the most technically gifted wrestlers in WWE having a match will never be a bad thing. The downside of Gulak's relationship with Brian is he will end up suffering losses to Brian's rivals. As great as it is to see Gulak in the ring with so many big stars recently, it would be even better if he was consistently winning. This bout gave him one of those wins and is hopefully the first step toward him getting a real sustained push. So this is the second mega happy ending, if you will, MF. I mean, we saw it with Maverick the other night on NXT, and we get it here with Gulak. I mean, we thought Gulak was gone. They said Gulak was gone, but no. They've had a change of heart. They brought him back, and I'm glad because he's a very talented wrestler. I mean, I should know from all the time I watched him on 205 Live, former cruiserweight champion in his own right. So yeah, 2.5 to 3 stars. I 100% agree with the rating. Fun little sprint. What else is there to say? And if AJ wins the title next week, yes, we're getting it on Smackdown next week, not on Backlash. We're getting it on free television next week. So, think about that for a minute. If AJ wins the title, MF is right. Maybe Gulak set him up for a possible championship committee moment. We'll have to wait and see on that. But for right now, 2.5 to 3. I 100% agree with MF's rating. The segment was the segment of the night. Brian and AJ, they are just so damn good together. It doesn't matter who's what. It doesn't matter who's the heel or who's the face. These two are just gold. I mean, we saw the great title feud they had a year ago for the WWE Championship. Now they're going to both bring prestige to the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. So that's all there is to say on that. So 2.5 to 3, Michael Bullock. You can make an argument, 205 Live aside, you can make an argument this is the biggest win for Drew Gulak on the main roster yet.
Yeah, I would have to agree on that. I mean, the segment, like you said at the beginning, was, I thought it was the segment of the night. I mean, Daniel Bryan and AJ, what can you say about them? I mean, they could certainly interact well. I mean, you've seen some of their segments from the past or from some of the matches that they've had, but it's just something about the two of them. It just makes it really good, and this is why I think having AJ Styles back on SmackDown was probably the best thing for him. And you put him in there with Daniel Bryan, whoo, man, I can't wait to see what goes down with that. And yeah, I mean, I'm going to give it 3 stars for the match. I mean, welcome back, Drew Gulak, and definitely the biggest win for him since, I would have to say, since becoming the Cruiserweight champion, and of course, during his days on 205 Live. So, yeah, there's really nothing more to add. Fletch, let's move on.
Sorry about that. Forgot to unmute my mic. Yeah, no, this is incredible. This was excellent. There's really nothing more to add on this one, guys. And yeah, you absolutely hit the nail right on the head. This was solid. This was great. This was well done. And now we just move right along. The next fight that we actually did have, it was a 6-man tag team fight. The New Day and Chad Gable going up against Mojo Raleigh, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Cesaro. And when it was all said and done, it was the New Day and Chad Gable getting the win in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Um, look, I'm just gonna say this. It was an okay match. This was about maybe another 2.5 star fight. I don't think we can go any more bigger than that. But it was a solid fight. It was a solid match. This seems like this was just randomly thrown together. I don't think this was really much to do about anything. It was kind of more of a filler segment more than anything else. So let's just leave it at that. And Anthony Florio, I give it to you.
And that
Florio, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
2.5 stars.
I didn't know. All right, because you sounded like you were cutting in and out, MF. That's why.
All right.
But no, you're all right. Anywho, the sixth man, 2.5, 2.5 to 3 on this again. Mojo Raleigh was a last minute addition, but he kept up with everyone else in this match. He is a good hand with a lot of upside, but WWE has failed to promote his character in any meaningful way. While it's nice to see Chad Gable back in action, it feels like this is just another random feud for him. If he is ever going to be the underdog hero he can be, WWE needs to give him a sustained push with a far better gimmick than this ridiculous Shorty G nonsense. The New Day, Cesaro, and Nakamura all did their jobs perfectly. They are 4 veterans who are almost incapable of having bad matches. Could we see maybe a future tag title feud with those 4? Maybe down the road. I'd be down with it. So that's really all we can say on this. This is another 2.5 to 3 stars. I agree with the rating again. So there's nothing more to say. Did Bullet go?
Bullet can go
No,
now.
it's my turn. Yeah.
Okay.
All
right.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it about 2.5 stars as well. I mean, yeah. I mean, for a match that was just randomly thrown together, I thought it was well done in the time it did have. So yeah. So yeah, there's really nothing more to add to it. I mean, you guys pretty much touched on everything. So I'm just gonna give it to Dee Dee Woodson.
Okay, I'm lost. Where are we?
This was the 6-man tag team fight.
Okay, yeah, I'll agree with the rating. It was pretty good, but I don't have a whole lot to add to it, so it's yours.
All right, and then we do go into the main event of the evening as the WWE Women's Tag Team titles are on the line, as it is Nikki Cross and Alexa Bliss putting the titles on the line against the inaugural and first ever Women's Tag Team Champion, former Women's Tag Team Champions Sasha Banks and the reigning and defending Smackdown Women's Champion Bayley, the winners of the bout in 12 minutes and 30 seconds, and new WWE Women's Tag Team Champions Bayley and Sasha Banks. They've won the gold. Bayley is a double champion. She has now both the SmackDown Women's and the WWE Women's Tag Team titles in her possession at the same time. Very rare that a wrestler has done it, but she has done it. Bayley is a double champion. Anthony Florio, you lead off on the main event.
My mind was my mind kind of drifted off for a moment. MF, did you do the monsoon plug?
No, I did not do the monsoon plug. I'll do it in a minute.
Okay. All right. That's what I had to do. Well, if you could read, you can't read our chat, but our next panelist is not going to be very happy about this. Yeah, he's going to be fuming. But anywho, 3.25 to 3.5 stars. Cross and Bliss losing the titles this way is very surprising. But there's one reason why WWE is clearly doing this. They're just doing this to build up to the eventual breakup of Sasha and Bayley. Cross and Bliss may even get the titles back in the near future, especially if Sasha grows tired of Bayley hogging the spotlight and offering her up for matches. But this was a solid outing with a somewhat surprising outcome. It will be interesting to see what happens in the coming weeks. It's a surprising outcome for some, not to me though. When I heard that this was going to be the main event, there was a small part of me that thought that Bayley and Sasha were going to win the titles, and sure enough, I was right. So, but a great matchup here. 3 1/4, 3.5 stars. It's another one of the fights of the night for sure. So, there's nothing more for me to say. Folks, Michael Bullock is not going to be happy about this. He said in our private chat, "Do I have to deal with Bayley 2 belts? Give me a break." Yes, Bullock, unfortunately, we all are going to have to deal with Bayley 2 belts. Oh my God, not a good night for us. First in little when Fibio gets injured, now this. What's next?
Yeah, I'll tell you what's next. Having to deal with Bayley's ego. I mean, her ego was already big enough, but boy, howdy, this is only going to skyrocket it even more. I'll tell you this, and Fletch, I know you're going to agree with me on this one. I'd rather have Becky 2 belts than Bayley 2 belts, because at least with Becky 2 belts, she did it with honor and pride. Bayley here, no. She's only doing it to hog the spotlight from Sasha Banks, and you hit it right on the head, Florio. The reason why they did this, I think they're only building to the potential breakup of Sasha and Bayley, because somewhere down the line, you know it's going to happen. When, we just don't know. So maybe Alexa and Nikki will get another shot and they get the titles back, but we'll just have to wait and see. But for right now, 3 1/4 star for me. So nothing more to say except Dee Woodson. Unfortunately, we're going to have to deal with Bayley 2 belts. And as Bayley 2 belts, that's not a good thing. That's a bad thing.
Definitely. Technically, I could see this either way ending up being bad. You know, we got the outcome where they won, but still, you know, you saw where Sasha dragged Bayley over, you know, made the tag to get herself in. And, you know, nothing really came of that other than, you know, Sasha was a little irritated when she first pulled her over. But if you know, Alexa and Nikki would have won, then that would have, you know, caused Bayley to possibly, you know, lash out at her best friend, as she's calling her, and probably blame Sasha for the loss. So, I mean, either way, you could have seen this happen. So, yeah, there's, you know, I pretty much agree with the rating y'all gave. There's not much more I'm going to add to this. You know, it's basically another storyline progression here, and now we're dealing with the new 2 belts that now Bayley has, which isn't. I wouldn't say this is as big as the 2 belts as Becky had. I mean, because Becky had both single women's titles. This one's a women's title and a tag title, so I wouldn't say this is quite as big as Becky's 2 belts, but it's still 2 belts. So, Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no, this was a solid main event. I don't think there was really nothing bad to say. This was a solid main event. It did everything that it needed it to do. Yes, I totally agree with everything that you guys have said. Eventually, this will lead to the breakup. We just don't know how the breakup's gonna play out, I guess is the key word right now. But no, I think they did very well. They did the story was written very well to a certain degree, and you know they did what they had to do. So yes, Bayley now has 2 titles. She's a double champion. Congratulations to her for winning it all. And you know, now the question becomes is what's next? Well, I guess we'll wait and find out. But at the end of the day, I think everybody was it was pretty well. It was very, it was a good SmackDown live, and there was really nothing more to add. So, final thoughts, Michael Bullock. I give you the first crack at it.
I thought it was a good show. I mean, basically, I mean, like you said, with the women's tag team title changing hands, it definitely adds to the storyline progression for the potential breakup. Like we all agree, we know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. Um, you add the fuel to Daniel Bryan and AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship, so yeah, so there's really nothing more to add. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, there's nothing more to say. So Dee Woodson, final thought from you.
Yeah, this was a very good show. Definitely storyline progression. Definitely very much a pay-per-view building show. I don't have a lot of negative to say other than we could have done without probably the Miz and Morrison bits because they were just too stupid. But of course, we did get to see Strowman flip a van, which we haven't seen in a while. So I guess that kind of evens it out a little bit. So not much more I'm going to say on it. Fletch, it's yours.
Yeah, no, this was a solid show. There's really nothing more to add. I'm very optimistic about the rest of it, and no, they did a good job. So nothing more to say. Anthony, it's yours.
Solid night from a wrestling perspective. Um, Things have improved with the addition of the Performance Center crowd. Despite this angle being on again, off again for years, the Sasha Bailey breakup story has been intriguing in recent weeks. And the additions of the women's tag titles should add some flair to that. Daniel Bryan, AJ Styles provided an excellent hook for next week's big match, which, if you've read the dirt sheets, I'm hearing that it was unbelievable. So we'll be the judge of that next week.
From what I
And
heard,
Jeff Hardy and Shane,
I'm sorry,
yeah,
Anthony. Sorry to interrupt, but from what I
hey, no,
read
no,
and what I heard, even though we don't know the result, I heard fight of the year candidate.
and look who's involved. So,
Yes.
surprised by that much?
No.
Um, Jeff Hardy and Sheamus moved into safer waters this week. Hopefully they'll stay there. Even though they have the upcoming match at Backlash that was made official tonight. Michael Bullock, I wanted to make sure you knew that because you joined after I mentioned that previously. The weakest element of the show were the campy comedy, bull funky nonsense from Miz and Morrison. I mean, but other than that, we've seen an improvement in SmackDown's commitment to giving fans something to tune in for each week. And, their side of Backlash looking good. So there's really nothing more for me to say. A great show, another good show for SmackDown tonight. MF, be encouraged. That's all I can say. And MF forgot to do it, so I'm going to do it for him anyway. MF, as we wrap it up, history was made tonight. New women's tag team champs. MF, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here,
Okay.
and I'm just about ready to go. I was just getting my last second notes ready for the In Your House, which we are going to talk about right now. So NXT In Your House going down this Sunday night, from Full Sail University, and here is your fight card. We lead it off with a one-on-one match. Damian Priest goes one-on-one with Finn Balor. We're going to reset the table. I'll lead off on this one, guy. I'm going to go with Finn Balor. I think Balor right now is definitely the guy that needs to win more than anything else. Obviously, they're going to want him to set up for the big fight against Walter whenever that match ever happens. We haven't seen that fight happen yet for the UK title. It's only a matter of time. Hopefully, with the restriction, once the travel restrictions is lifted, or if Balor can some way somehow go back to the UK to fight for the United Kingdom title, because that's going to be the big thing. So at the end of the day, Balor wins. Florio, go.
And from what I am hearing, folks, when it comes to takeover in your house, I'm hearing they're going old school for this. I'm hearing through some credible sources that we might be getting the old school in your house setup. We'll have to wait and see come Sunday. And if you didn't see the promo video earlier today, Todd Pettingale, what? Oh my
Yes.
God, we've gone back in time. Awesome. But anyways, I wanted to get that off my chest real quick. But anyways, following a brief stint in which he was in the North American title picture, a feud with Balor was not the worst landing spot for Priest. While it's naturally possible that Priest could get the victory here through some nefarious means, Balor should come away with a clean win in this first match as retribution for the attack. This won't and should not be a one and done in this feud. However, as Priest should continue by any means necessary to make a name for himself at the expense of the veteran Balor. But I agree with you, MF. Finn Balor is my winner as well. So now on to Mr. NXT, Michael Bullock. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with Finn Balor to win as well. I mean, look, I mean, you need to continue to build him for that potential big feud with Walter, and like you said, Fletch, whenever some of these restrictions are lifted, but it could be sometime later on this summer. But who knows? We'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, and something tells me I don't think this is done between these two. I think we're gonna get another match between these two somewhere down the line, maybe on a future NXT show. So we'll just have to wait and see. But for right now, I got Finn Balor winning. Dee, what's in it's yours?
I'm going to make it unanimous. So let's move on, Fletch.
All right, next up we're going to have is the 6-woman tag. It's going to be Shotzi Blackheart, Tegan Knox, and Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai, Raquel Gonzalez, and Candice LeRae. Anthony Florio, it's all yours.
Yeah, I'm actually going to go with the heel team in this one. There's a lot of talent in this match, but picking a winner comes down to who needs the win here. LeRae has been making waves with her heel push for respect. Her duo with husband Johnny Gargano could come out of TakeOver looking very strong if her group gets the win and Gargano becomes a two-time North American champion. We'll get into that in a moment. There's just overall more benefit to the heels winning this one. So I'm going with Candice LeRae, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez to win this match. So nothing more to say. Bullock, your thoughts on this 6-woman tag?
Whew. Man, this to me is a tough one to call. I mean, you make some valid points, Florio. Now, going back to Wednesday, guys, who won that match with Mia Yim and Candice LeRae?
LeRae.
All right.
Well, actually, no. The fight got thrown out. The fight was thrown out. It was, I think, a double. It was an NA, and then it ended up being a mixed tag, and the Garganos got the win.
That's right.
Yeah, and so to me, I mean, I think because of that, because of the, as we like to say, the storyline. I mean, what was that? What we call booking 101. I mean, you had LeRae obviously and Johnny Gargano win. So to me, I'm going to go with the whole booking 101 thing, and I'm actually going to go with the babyface team of Mia Yim, Shotzi Blackheart, and Tegan Knox. I think Mia Yim's going to get a little payback from what happened this past Wednesday. So, but I would not be surprised if Candice LeRae, Raquel Gonzalez, and Dakota Kai wins this. So nothing more to say. Dee, what's in it yours?
Man, I could see it going either way. I guess I'm going to agree with Florio on this one. Go with the heel team. Although I would love to see the face team win. Because either way, you know, whether it's Gargano and LeRae that wins, or Yum and believe that wins, you're going to have a big night. So, I guess I'm going to go with the heel team on this one. So, not much more I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
I'm gonna go. I'm actually gonna disagree with Anthony and Didi Woodson. I'm gonna go with Michael Bullock here. I'm gonna say it's the face team, but it's not the reason why that I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it because I think it's gonna be because Tegan Knox is gonna get a measure of revenge on Dakota Kai. I think it's the other way around. I think the two women, Mia Yim and I think Mia Yim and Candice LeRae are going to cancel each other out. They're going to brawl and they're going to be away from the action. I think what's going to happen is I think Dakota's going to take the fall and Tegan's going to get the victory for her team. So that's why I'm going to go that route instead of going for Mia Yim versus Dakota Kai. I mean, the Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae. I think that's going to be a complete and utter wash. I think they're going to wash each other out. So, no, I'm going to go with the face team to win, but it's going to be because Tegan Knox takes down Dakota Kai and wins. So, alright, guys. So, next up we have, well, it's one of the big ones. Killian Cross with Scarlett versus Tommaso Ciampa one-on-one. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Oh man, this is a tough one. I've been really impressed with Karrion Cross since he since he's come to NXT. And the thing is, he's really played the mind games with Tommaso Ciampa. So I think in the end, I just been impressed with him, and I'm actually gonna go with Karrion Cross. I mean, you want to make him look like a real threat to NXT, and I think a win over the Sicilian Psychopath will definitely help him out. So I'm gonna go with Karrion Cross to win this one. DB Woodson, it's yours.
Uh, yeah, I think Cross is going to win this one. I mean, you got Scarlett on the outside. So, yeah, not much more I'm going to add. Let's just take it, Fletch.
Meth, are you there? Okay,
All
there you
right. Sorry again. I'm gonna go with Killian Cross. I gotta go with Cross. I truly believe that this is gonna be their moment. This is gonna be a victory for him. They're gonna want to make him really strong and really good. So why not give him a big victory here? I really got nothing more to add. So Anthony, it's yours.
Make it unanimous. I mean, you cannot bring Cross in as a threat and have him lose his first big bout. Pairing him with Ciampa is a great move in that it allows Cross to establish himself as a top level threat against one of the brand's cornerstones. If Cross is going to be a big player as a dominant force, he will not be losing anytime soon, and certainly not this weekend at Takeover in Your House. Karrion Cross wins, make it unanimous. MF, we got 3 big title matches. Let's do this thing.
We're gonna start it off with the North American title. The champion, bask in the glory of Keith Lee versus Johnny Gargano. Didi Woodson, you lead off.
Boy. Actually, I don't think Keith Lee is going to lose this one, which I know kind of puts the theory of the ladies and the guys, celebrating together on both winning. Johnny Gargano and Keith Lee, I think they're going to tear up the house, but I don't see Keith losing it yet. So nothing more I'm going to add. It's your Fletch.
Yeah, this is tough. Um, I partially disagree with you, Didi. I think we're gonna have a new champion. I think because I don't think it's gonna be a fair fight. I think Gargano's gonna slip through the back door and he's gonna cheat, and that's why I think history's going to be made. I think Johnny Gargano is gonna backdoor his way to the North American title, and I really think it's gonna happen. Keith Lee's had the belt for a little bit. You know they're going to want to make Gargano big. And the one way to do it is by having him win the title, but they're going to do it by a chicken bleep way. We're not going to be happy with it, but I would not be surprised if this is the route they go. The winner of the bout and new North American champion, Johnny Gargano, Johnny Wrestling, will become the champion. Anthony, it's yours.
MF, I agree. I think it would be a mistake for Gargano to come up short here as he settles into this new heel role alongside wife Candice LeRae. He simply has to get the job done and become a two-time NXT North American champion, no matter the measures he has to take to get there. Plus, on the flip side, if that should happen, I am hopeful that Keith Lee will get the shine he has long deserved on the main roster of either Monday Night Raw or Friday Night SmackDown in the near future. So something to think about there. But for right now, though, Gargano should give Lee the marquee match he has long needed. And seeing as Johnny Wrestling is now a heel who is not at the top of the card, well, I think he kind of needs it now. And Lee could be destined for the main event scene or an ascension to the primary roster, both of which are possible. But nonetheless, though, I agree with MF wholeheartedly. Winner and new NXT North American champion, Johnny Gargano. Nothing more to say. Bullock, are you going to go with Didi? Make it a split? Or are you going to go with me and MF?
I'm going to go with you guys. I'm going to go with Johnny Gargano to become the new North American champion. But I gotta agree with Fletch. I mean, it's gonna get so good, and then Johnny Gargano's gonna cheat to win. I don't know how he's gonna do it. Whether maybe a roll up or as you would say, Florio, pulling the tights and getting the win, or maybe he'll use some foreign object like what we saw this past Wednesday night on NXT. So either way, Johnny Gargano's going to cheat to win the title. We're not going to like it. We're probably going to despise it. But as Batista would say, and I know Johnny Gargano would go with that, deal with it. So, winner and new North American champion, Johnny Gargano, and who knows, maybe this could be the time where Keith Lee gets called to the main roster. And I'll tell you what, MF and Florio, both of your shows are going to be vying for his services. I don't know where he would end up, but I don't know. I just want to wait and see what happens if and when that does happen. So, Fletch, I'm going to give it to you.
All right. Okay. The next match that we do have is for the NXT Women's Title in a triple threat. The champion Charlotte Flair versus Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai. This is going to be tough, but I think we're going to have to call it this way. Charlotte wins the match. I'm sorry. I just don't think you give her the belt just to drop it right away. She is one of those people that has been a really good workhorse right now on both the companies. Now, I get it. A lot of people were a little upset about Rhea Ripley losing the belt at WrestleMania. A lot of people were flipping out that Charlotte won the title at WrestleMania. Well, I believe that Charlotte's going to win, but again, this is going to be a backdoor victory. I don't think she's going to win it outright. She's going to probably backdoor her way to this victory, but it's not going to be Rhea that takes the fall here. I think they're going to make Io Shirai the sacrificial lamb on this one. winner and still NXT Women's Champion, the Queen, Charlotte Flair. Anthony, it's yours.
Charlotte Flair equals ratings. Do I have to go any? Do I have to spell that out any further? But this, out of all the matches on the card, this one's the toughest to call. Putting the NXT Championship on Charlotte Flair, and I know Michael Bullock's going to be very happy when I say this, putting the NXT Championship on Charlotte Flair has largely been a mistake, as it has stagnated the women's division and completely slowed the momentum that Rhea Ripley had going into WrestleMania. As such, I think it's time that WWE corrects that mistake and maybe does so appropriately with Ripley regaining the title, hopefully by getting the fall on Charlotte in this triple threat match. While it would also be great to put the title on Io Shirai, who I strongly feel is very long deserving of the opportunity herself, I would kind of prefer Rhea get the belt back and get her win back all at once. I believe this could be the direction NXT might go, as there are far more heel challengers available than there are faces. Rhea getting the title back makes plenty of sense as Charlotte moves off NXT and back to the main roster of Monday Night Raw. But Rhea winning would feel like the obvious path, and that's rarely the most interesting path to follow. Shirai getting a run would be intriguing and do a lot to kickstart the stalled out NXT Women's Division. An increasingly frustrated Ripley chasing Shirai for a while would give us a very strong title program that could get some momentum going again. Flair Ripley 2 can then be kept on the back burner until a bigger main roster program down the line. Very tough, like I said. The safe choice would obviously be going with Charlotte to keep the title. That is the safe choice. The good choice would be, to give it back to Rhea, get her momentum going again. But for me, if I'm going to be honest with you, I would like to see Io Shirai get the title here. I think she's the best female yet to win that title. Although you can make an argument for Bianca Belair, but she's on Raw now. But you know what? I'm going to take the chance. I'm going to say winner and new women's champion Io Shirai. But if the Queen wins, I would not at all be surprised because, hello, she equals ratings, like I said. So we'll have to wait and see. But I would like to see Io Shirai get it myself. Think about that. And with how frustrated and with all the frustration that Rhea's been showing, that could be a fun-ass feud if you book it. So, but I'm going to go with Io for now. But if Charlotte wins, I would not at all be surprised. So nothing more to say. Bullock, far and away the toughest match on the card here. Very tough call.
Don't you mean you're going with Rhea Ripley for now?
No, I'm actually going with Io Shirai to win.
Oh, all right. I wasn't quite sure. I mean, all right. I just wanted to be clear on that. Yeah, this is tough, but you know what? For me, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, we all heard, certain rumors after WrestleMania when we all thought that Rhea Ripley had to go back because of her situation. But that wasn't the case. And this is why it justifies why I was upset with how, Rhea Ripley lost the title. I mean, you built her this much to only to have her job to the Queen, Charlotte Flair. No, that to me was a mistake. I think it's time for them to right the wrong. I think it's time to put the title back on Rhea Ripley, and then I would say maybe have a feud with her and Io Shirai for the NXT Women's title, and then maybe this would be the time where Io Shirai will have her moment. So that's just how I feel with it. So Dee Dee Woodson, did she lead off on it?
No, I led off on it. Dee Dee's turn.
I think Rhea Ripley's going to probably come away with it. So, not anything else I'm going to add. It's yours, Fletch.
All right. And in the main event of NXT TakeOver in your house for the NXT title in a backlot brawl match, it's going to be the Velveteen Dream versus the champion, Adam Cole. And more importantly, if the Velveteen Dream loses this match, he will no longer get an NXT championship match as long as Adam Cole is the champion. Anthony Florio, you lead off.
This is a lot easier call here. Going the cinematic direction with the match is hit or miss, but with Adam Cole having held the title for more than a year, things start to hit a point where you wonder what's left for him. At some point, they're going to give Velveteen a run at the top, and with the rumors swirling around about Adam Cole's contract being up in the near future and him possibly going to AEW to be with a certain special someone in his life. I think we all know who I'm referring to. And considering the fact that he was with her at this big Memorial Day shindig that Tony Khan of AEW, threw, I think it's very obvious here, folks. This might be the time. And especially with that stipulation being in there, this is basically a last chance match. And 9 times out of 10, the individual facing the last chance almost always wins the title. Case in point, 2006 Survivor Series Batista, when he won the World Heavyweight Championship from King Booker. That was a last chance match. He had a last chance situation. He won. Either way, Velveteen Dream needs the opportunity to be the man in NXT unless there is a plan to move him to Raw or SmackDown in the near future. But for me, this is an easy one for me. Winner and new NXT champion, DREAM. Nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, Mr. NXT. Are we finally going to witness the dethroning of Adam Cole, or is his historic reign yet going to continue?
I think it's time that we're going to see a new era in NXT, the Velveteen Dream era. I think that this is going to be the time where Adam Cole is going to drop the belt because, I mean, he's held it for over a year now. And you brought up a good point there, Florio. Not just with the whole situation with his contract, but because of the stipulation being a last chance. And all these times, the challenger always comes out the new champion. And I think we're going to see history repeat itself. So I'm in agreement. Winner and new NXT champion, the Velveteen Dream. Dee Woodson, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. I think Velveteen's going to come away with it. I've heard both rumors. I've heard 2 rumors. I've heard one where Cole could be going to AEW, but I've also heard where he could be going up to the main roster at WWE. I don't know which one's true or not. So we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. So either way, I see him finally dropping the title after, having it for over a year. So it's yours, Fletch.
There's really nothing more to add. I do believe with all you guys. I agree. Velveteen Dream will finally realize the moment he finally gets his hands on the NXT title. He will become the next NXT champion, and it's gonna be such a moment in time for me. And this guy was the most liked. He was the most loved. He's one of the most popular. And he will finally get the gold. And I think he will do it. So guys, that's it. We're done. And you guys can come on back on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. Once NXT TakeOver is off the air, we will go live and we will recap NXT in your house. And that's it, guys. So for Anthony Floyo, for Michael Bullock, for Dee Woodson, I am Michael Fletcher. Thank you so much for watching. And until Sunday night, so long, everybody.